The beauty of America is people can do what they like, but I prefer to talk to the millions, tens of millions of American women who are inspired by the brand.
A new deep dive from New York Magazine on the final days of Donald Trump's campaign reveals an Ivanka Trump who is thinking ahead to the long-term consequences for the Trump brand. The report says that Ivanka is especially worried that the campaign has caused lasting damage to the family business. Quoting one advisor who says she thinks this is not good for the brand and she would like to distance herself from it. That brand includes Ivanka's own business empire and accessories and clothing line, whose revenue has increased nearly $30 million since last year as her father's campaign raised her public profile. And an eponymous lifestyle website whose traffic grew by 50% during that same time. But it seems Ivanka's concerns about the brand are well placed. This chart from e-commerce network ShopRunner shows a sharp decline in the popularity of Ivanka Trump products, right around the time we first heard her father's now infamous words about women on the Access Hollywood recording. And the brand backlash has been amplified by the launch of Grab Your Wallet, an anti-Trump movement calling for a boycott against Ivanka Trump's clothing empire. And joining me now is a woman who started that boycott, Grab Your Wallet founder, Shannon Coulter. Shannon, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me, Joy.
So, Shannon, I first heard about you on Twitter, where your hashtag has gained quite a bit of popularity. Some of my tweets alerted me to it. Why target Ivanka Trump's brands rather than, for instance, Donald Trump's hotels?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So actually our boycott is not about Ivanka's brand. It's not a boycott of Ivanka Trump products. It's actually a boycott of the stores that carry them. I think for a lot of women, we were sort of silently boycotting Ivanka's products prior to the Trump tapes and just silently not buying them. And then after the release of the Trump tapes and after she returned to the campaign trail for Donald in the wake of the Trump tapes, many of us felt like we had to do more. So we're boycotting stores like Nordstrom, Amazon, Neiman Marcus, Lord & Taylor, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, Saks Off Fifth, all these stores that carry Donald and Ivanka Trump products. Now, Amazon is the only one that carries Donald Trump products out of all of those. The rest are just Ivanka, but Amazon carries 279 Donald Trump products, so they're very much in the boycott.
Wow, and have you heard from any of these retail outlets in response to your boycott of them?
When I first called them, I was just calling merely as a customer. Since then, since the boycott took off and has been seen by 79 million people on Twitter the last time I looked, the only store on the list that's shown us the courtesy of a formal response has been Nordstrom, and we've been documenting their responses to customers very carefully. People have been sending me the emails that they're receiving in response to their complaints. And what I'm really encouraged to see with Nordstrom is that their messaging has been evolving very quickly. The first messages that we were seeing from them said that they had no current plans to drop Ivanka Trump products. As a messaging professional, the word currently really stood out for me in that messaging. But as of yesterday, we're seeing new emails to customers that don't even mention that. So they have stopped saying that they don't have current plans to drop Ivanka Trump products. They're simply talking about customers' needs and how trust is fragile with customers and has to be re-earned again and again. So I'm very encouraged to see that.
Very interesting, and I'm wondering if that might have something to do with some of the numbers that we're seeing. Fortune magazine has a morning consult poll taken last week. It breaks down support of Ivanka's clothes by a political affiliation, and it asks whether you would consider purchasing clothing from Ivanka Trump's clothing line. You can see it's a pretty complicated chart, but essentially the more likely you are to be a Democratic-leaning voter, the less likely you are to purchase Ivanka Trump's line. Let's look at one more thing. Data in Forbes from the New York-based agency Brand Keys, and it essentially shows that millennial women are walking away from the Ivanka Trump brand. Here's a quote. A Brand Keys survey of Ivanka's target market, where millennial women with disposable income, found that 51% of respondents are still extremely or very willing to keep her clothes and shoes on their shopping list. What do you make of that?
Yeah, without a baseline to measure from, I don't think that particular poll says very much. It also wasn't transparent on political affiliation, so I think the Fortune poll that found that fewer than 1 in 4 women would buy an Ivanka Trump product at this point was the one to look at.
And what would you say that a shopper who, let's say at Nordstrom's or one of these outlets, should do if they have written to the retail outlet and asked that they not carry these products and they still are carrying them? What would you suggest that somebody who's a part of your Grab Your Wallet movement do?
At this point, I think it's just about contacting them and recontacting them and making sure that they know how women, the core customers that have been loyal customers all these years, feel about it. there's a lot of amplification of this right now. We've had, celebrities like Don Cheadle retweeted and Laura Silverman and the co-founder of Ben & Jerry's. There's a lot of pent-up energy and emotion about this. And I think it's especially important right now that Nordstrom and other department stores like them understand that we're not okay with them profiting from the Donald Trump campaign, because what's happening is that Ivanka's going out on the campaign trail for him, and every time she makes a public appearance, afterwards she markets the clothes that she's wearing at that public appearance on her social media channels. And what that means to us is that our favorite stores, the stores that we are the loyal customers of, are profiting directly from a campaign that we consider to be hateful, that we consider to be on the backs of people of color, of women, of LGBTQ people. It's not okay.
Well,
for me, the brand names of the department stores themselves are starting to become more and more synonymous with the Trump family brands.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I should mention that Ivanka Trump was on Good Morning America on Thursday, and she essentially said that her advocacy of women preceded the presidential campaign, said there's nothing she can do about those who are politicizing it. What would you say if you could talk to Ivanka right now, very briefly?
Well, I think it's too late. I don't think that there's anything she can do at this point. I think we were all watching her very carefully after the release of the Trump tapes, and if she had chosen to distance herself at that point, that would have probably meant something, but it's too late.
Wow. Well, Shannon Coulter, thank you very much. We will definitely keep an eye on what you are doing. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And in the next hour, Donald